What's up, everybody? It's your boy Andrew L. Casey. You are now tuned into the Middle Initial Podcast. Today is May 8th, 2023. I'm here with my co-host, as usual, Jude A. Jackson, Kevin A. Lewis.
Hello.
What's going on, guys?
What's going on?
How's you guys' weekend? I heard you guys linked up over the weekend.
We did.
Yes,
we did. We met up to watch the Knicks game. This
Unfortunately.
Yeah, first I went to the Knicks. First I went to the Knicks fall party with some friends. Shout out to Kyle and everything. It was pretty fun. They had a good party and everything. Then at halftime, I was like, let me go see Kev because he mentioned he was at Jim Mills. So I go up and see Kev, and we're watching the Knicks game, and Kev was like, wow, this is such a great game. I'm like, really, Kev? I don't know about that.
All right. So you see, here's the thing where I wasn't even gonna bring up the goofy shit Drew did. I was gonna act like, listen, saw him, was happy to see him, dapped him up, and I left. But since Drew want to lie on my name, listen to what Drew did while we were there, right? So, mind you, let me get a coffee. Mind you, this is like, I want to say, I watched the second half with Drew. He came by for the second half. Mm-hmm. There's like 5 minutes left in the game. Mind you, the Knicks are building housing property in Miami with all them bricks they was launching up, right?
Terrible.
So they're down by 14 with 5 minutes left. And this guy says, close game we got here, huh, fellas? Like, what? 5 minutes left. Not like it was one of them 106 to 120 kind of affairs where at least like everybody's scoring and you just never know. The Knicks had like 78 points by that point. It's like, bro, the Knicks might not score 14 the rest of the game, let alone cover a 15-point deficit. And this man looked us dead in the face and said, close game, huh, fellas? Like, he said, this is what he said.
Jude is like Ricky Bobby during the interview. He's like, I don't know.
Like, that's what he said, though. Like, he wants to lie on my name, though. And I was gonna let him go. I wasn't gonna say that. I wasn't gonna bring it up. But then Drew decided to poke the bear, in the words of somebody we're gonna talk about later.
Yeah.
And then now here we are. And now he's getting dumped on again.
I mean,
poor Jude.
Yeah. After I said that, the funny thing was after I said that, I think the Knicks scored like 4 points the rest of the game. So I was just like, damn.
Jude Jinx has been activated. Where were you first?
Though? So funny that day.
Yeah, Knicks are bad.
But yeah.
Oh, where were you first though, Jude? You were someplace else before you met up with Kevin Jim.
Knicks Wall Party down in Canal Street. It was a good time. They have free beer, they have good music, good drinks, all that stuff. It's good company. Kyle's a great host. It was a good time. I enjoyed it.
Good stuff.
Was Sean
No. Sean's in Florida.
Oh, he's
Sean's in Florida. He's in Florida.
I always forget that he's out here. Got it.
Unfortunately, I took one of those old man naps. That day. I got up my son got up like really early on a Saturday morning. I don't know why he decided to be up like 6 a.m., like ripe 6 a.m. in the morning. So I ended up taking one of them old man naps, and I woke up. It was like, I think it was like halftime or something like that. Mm-hmm. And the night before, I went to Legends of the Fall at the Barclays to see Jeezy. Let me just talk about that real quick before we get into it. Fuck the Barclays as a staff. A label, motherfuckers.
What's wrong with Barclays?
I'm gonna tell you. Listen, okay. So during the show was kind of moving like certain spots, like moving quick, moving slow. So it opened up with Remy Ma. Fat Joe came out. French Montana was there. Cameron was there. Good lineup of artists. But Jeezy's the main artist. They cut his mic. He was like, here, one more song. They were pressed for time, I guess. It was 10:53 p.m. and he cut his mic. And it was like, that was pretty much it. We walked out and they said Fabio Foreign was supposed to be there, supposed to perform after. I don't know how true that was because I heard the DJ come on and say, we're not finished yet. I'm like, yeah, we are. Because he just cut Jeezy off in his final set and we're leaving. But I spoke to some people who worked at the Garden. I'm like, have you ever heard of a stadium just cutting time? It's like, the Barclays, they don't play. They certain time, that's it. You guys pay for this time, we're done. I've never heard anyone at the Garden say somebody was performing and we cut it short. I've never heard that ever. So I'm just sitting there you know what? It's bad enough, your team is an imposter in New York. do something right. Just do something right. You know, we're trying to enjoy the time. The drinks were fairly priced. You know what I mean? They weren't crazy. I think a double was $25, and I think like a regular drink was like 21. So it was not crazy. You know what I mean? For drinks and stuff like that. Good atmosphere. Everybody was smoking. Everybody was smoking weed. I was mad I left my weed at home. Everybody was smoking weed. I was like, shit. So I mean, but other than that, like, you know, it was good. It was a good show. It was a good weekend. So that's why I kind of like, you know, I got home, stayed up a little bit. But then, like, the next day, I was like, yo, I was tired. I took a nap. And I'm glad I did, because if I had wasted money and time to go watch the Knicks perform like that, I'd have been pissed. I would have gotten probably shit-faced by second quarter, you know, and came home and yelled at my kids for no reason. Like, you're the reason I'm pitiful. Is there any joy left in my life? But you know, the Knicks played bad, and we're going to get into that. This is a great segue, actually. NBA playoffs. Yeah, the Knicks definitely blew it in Game 3. They're down right now in Game 4. While every other team is kind of like getting their shit together in the playoffs, it seemed like the Knicks decided like to fade away. You know what I mean? Well, when I say every other team, I'm talking about not Denver. They need to get their shit together. They lost 2 straight. The Lakers are up, right? So they're up 2-1 right now.
Yeah, they're up 2-1.
Right? The 76ers, shout out to James Harden for, this is his first real good playoff series. Like, this is his first really good.
Okay. All right. Enough.
Kev?
All right.
This is revisionist.
Really good.
All right.
It's not? It's not.
No, okay. It's not.
Okay.
No.
Right.
James Harden has played in, I want to say, like 3 or 4 Western Conference Finals. I'm not going to sit here and act like I know what James Harden has been doing in a playoff series off the top of my head. I don't. But I am fairly certain that somebody who shoots the ball as much as James Harden and has shot the ball as well as James Harden has had a good playoff series. Not here to argue his low lights.
Wait, are you sure?
Yes, I'm very sure. I'm very positive. I don't have the numbers in front of my face, but I'm very, very positive that this is not the one good playoff series that James Harden has played, especially when you consider that James Harden has played 4 games in the series and has 2 no-shows. Yeah, the other 2 were amazing. Not here to argue, but he has 2 amazing games and 2 fucking no-shows. Yes, he's played better. Hell, I'd argue the 2018 conference finals, albeit Chris Paul's leg gave out on him, because what else is new in the playoffs? No offense, but that's what it is. James Harden getting that series to 7 games against that team took a heroic effort from him by itself. But either way, keep going.
Okay. I mean, listen. Well, maybe it's his first good playoff series in a long time. Let's put it like that.
With the Sixers.
It's probably his first as a Sixer. I'll give you that much. Damn sure is that. I could give you that. I mean, 100% true.
Yeah, it's been a while since he's wild. And I would say if it was 2018, or if you want to give him 2019, 2020 season, it's been at least 2 or 3 seasons since Harden has performed in this manner. But yeah, 2 40-point games, crucial games to score 40 points, like tying series games. Embiid does not look good coming back from injury. He looks okay. I think he looked good the last game, Game 4. He didn't look good. He looked good Game 3, I believe.
Embiid's an extremely shameless individual, by the way. Extremely shameless. Like, listen, I have never seen a man that big hit the ground that much, though. It is absurd. And I don't know commenting on ref baiting, because for the most part, the ref baiting is kind of bringing attention to fouls that's happening by exaggerating said fouls. So just like, all right, I'm gonna make your job even easier because you guys suck at this. So I don't even be criticizing ref baiters the way other people do. I see it for what it is. He's fucking absurd though. Like, and the thing is with him is like he's so goddamn injury prone, which is not his fault, but then hits the ground 45 times a game on purpose. Like it's part of his game to hit the fucking ground as many times as possible. And that's why when the 4th quarter comes around and referees are like, enough, we're not calling that bullshit anymore. Al Horford got this man in solitary confinement the whole 4th quarter and overtime. That's why. Because all of a sudden him flying and hitting the ground like a fucking imaginary sniper hit him doesn't work anymore.
Isn't that what AD does? AD keeps falling to the ground himself.
AD is just clumsy. Like AD's not really trying to hit the ground. He just ends up on the ground.
Yes.
Joel Embiid is a professional grifter. That's what he is. He fucking grifts. That's what he does. He grifts foul calls all the fucking time. All the time. That's what he fucking does.
I remember
and
a game
fans don't like it that we don't necessarily like watching him play. But how could you? Go ahead, Drew.
No, I remember a couple, like, what was it, last year or something, when James Harden just joined the Sixers, maybe a couple years ago. The one thing I remember, they were playing the Knicks, and I swear they must have had like 50 foul shots between the two.
Oh, yeah, it was last year. Oh, yeah. It was
literally like
it was absurd. I had to cut that shit off and like and halfway through, I was like, all right, this is just a free throw parade. It was like 26 for 29 at halftime. I'm like, nah, I'm watching this. No, it's nice outside. Let me go outside. Let me go get some. Let me go touch grass, as the kids would say. Yeah.
But Kev, I'm sorry, Jude. Did you guys hear that? I don't know if it's like an Onion headline that Joel Embiid's trainer told him it's better for him to hit the floor. Did you guys see that? Did you guys see that?
No,
I did not. But
like, is that a real thing,
bro? I don't know if that was a fake tweet or something like that, but I read something that
definitely
says,
sounds like something that is somewhat plausible, right? So like, I don't know if that's a fake headline. Maybe it is, maybe it ain't. But if his trainer really told him that, then my golly, he took it to heart.
Well, they said this is actually I think it was from 4 years ago. Somebody tweeted out, Joel Embiid falls down a lot because his doctors told him to.
Wow.
Okay, I guess I can take back everything I just said. All right, because I guess I got to walk back everything I just said. If that's the
I
case,
saw that and I was like, "There's no way that's real."
It's one of those things. Article. It sounds like it legitimately sounds like it could be very real or very fake. Like it does. Mm-hmm. It's like if somebody said that, like, all right, I've never heard of such practices, but maybe he's different. Maybe his body is different. I don't know. But assuming that that's not true, he is extremely shameless. Like, extremely shameless. Like, just, man, it's terrible to watch, honestly.
Honestly, seeing James Harden turn back the clock is pretty fun to watch. Like, especially game one when he hit that game winner. That was something else. So seeing him turn back the clock is pretty good. He might be avoiding the Doc Rivers curse. I mean,
he had 2 game winners. If that's the case, then he won.
He did.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he did. He did because Jaylen Brown for some reason left him to go double Embiid in a 2-point game. Brilliant stuff there, buddy.
But hey, Doc Rivers' curse might be ending. We'll see what happens. I mean,
I wouldn't say that.
I'll believe that the Sixers beat the Celtics 4 times when the 4th win is over and there's 0 seconds left on the clock and the Sixers have more points.
Right.
That's what I believe. I don't.
Right.
Maybe I should take them more seriously. I just don't. Like between the coach and their best player being a 7-foot grifter, I just don't take them seriously.
Now I have a question about Jason Tatum because we were talking about it in the group chat of mine, but the one thing with Jason Tatum, and I know you disagree with the fact that he's not like a great superstar, but it's so weird that Jason Tatum will have games in which he just doesn't show up like at all. And then he has great. I mean, maybe it's just
what could legitimately not say he's not a super. It's not even that part that I disagree with. It's just every 2 days we have to have like Jaylen Brown makes 2 baskets in a row. We got to hear how Jaylen Brown's. But it's like no, he's not. He's not. Like he's really not, and it's not really debatable. Why is not debatable? Well, for one, Jason Tatum's a better offensive player. For 2, Jason Tatum's a better defensive player. What's left? Jason Tatum's he's better at basketball. And Jaylen Brown, the thing with Jaylen Brown is this is how I know we talk about it sometimes, how reputations can be hard to shed. Jaylen Brown came in the league known for his defense. Dog, Jaylen Brown hasn't played good defense since Obama was in office. And we're still saying, "Oh, he's such a tough." No, he's not. He's tough on occasion. I'm not gonna act like he's Evan Fournier. Like he's not that. He's an average defender, which is fine. I'm not here to say he's awful, but like you would swear he was prime Tony Allen the way people talk about him. It's like no, he's really not. He's not. We don't have to lie like this. But regardless, Tatum does no show every now and again, but he no shows in a way where Kobe Bryant is his hero.
Oh my goodness.
He
Jeez.
no shows in similar ways to Kobe. He shoots a lot and he misses a lot, and people are acting like this is some brand new phenomenon of a star player shooting a lot of shots and missing a lot of shots.
Jeez.
It's relatively
and
not
Tatum
the
plays
same.
for the Celtics, so people don't like him. Like, let's call it a spade a spade. If Tatum played for the Spurs, doing the same shit, nobody would care. Tatum played for the Heat. We hear about Heat culture all the fucking time. I see you now with Jimmy Butler. We don't talk about Jimmy Butler's playoff stinkers ever. When he drops 50, now we're acting like he's Jordan, which, I mean, good. Give him his praise. I'm not here to shit on him at all. But he gets all the flowers and none of the dirt.
That's how it goes. I'm glad you mentioned Kobe, because I was going to say that I guess he needs some more of Kobe secret stuff or whatever he would kept.
No, he missed enough shots.
Sheesh.
Oh, Kev. But when he was, everything was Kobe this, Kobe that, Kobe this, Kobe that. Remember when he was doing that last year? It was just everything was Kobe, everything.
I have a comment I can't say. I'm gonna write it down. I'm gonna say it after the show. I'm not gonna say it all.
Oh, goodness gracious!
I feel like that ran its course, and he's kind of just like grasping at straws. Like he can't figure it out, and his answer is to keep shooting. Like, he's a good rebounder, he's a good passer. Like, the answer shouldn't be for him to continue to shoot when it's like, yo, distribute, rebound, play defense, do the things you can do. I think the problem a lot of times with people who have that shooter's mentality and have other assets, they forget other assets exist. And they just like, it's the idea to say, if this next shot goes in, that might start a string of the next 5 or whatever. Or if I go to if I make it to the free throw line, I'll go to the free throw line a little bit more. And that's what it is as a shooter's mentality. Like, once you make one and you see one go in, it's like, all right, there goes that one I needed to make. And I think that's the problem with him. It's like, yo, you're looking for that one, you're chasing that one, and you're kind of killing the rest of the game.
But the thing is, he does the other stuff though. And then people just don't care. Like, they want to get their shit off. People just don't give a fuck. Like, he'll have 18 boards and like 6 assists in a game and play really good defense. But people are just like, he went 6 for 25. He's Paul George. Like, that's what they do. People just don't give. And far be it from me to defend a Celtic and the guy who went to Duke, because I damn sure don't want to do either of those things. But here the fuck I am. Like, his great games are just, oh, poo-poo, he's supposed to do that. And then his poor, like, he's not the only star player or superstar, however you want to label him. I think he's a star. I think he's close to superstar. I don't think he's a superstar. But, like, all of them have stinkers.
Yeah.
All of them.
I agree.
All of them have stinkers. But all I hear about Jason Tatum stinkers and how he got to revise his entire fucking career, as if he isn't 25 and been to what, like 4 or 5 Eastern Conference Finals already? Whatever it was. And I think he's going to end up in a second NBA Finals, but who the fuck knows with the NBA at this point? Because it's wide open. I think he's going to end up in the finals again. So I don't know but I got to hear about how Jaylen Brown, how his shit don't stink every time he make 2 shots to the row. I don't get it. I really don't. I don't get it at all.
I mean, I give Jaylen Brown credit. He did become more of an offensive player.
Very good. He's very good.
That was especially like shooting 3-pointers and stuff like that.
Right. He's very good. Jason Tatum, which is cool. Not many people are.
Right. Boston and Philly is the battle of 2 teams who don't know who they are yet. You know what I mean? Like, it's just 2 teams. Like, do we want it all? Do we not want it all? We have multiple guys who can do this. Can we do it? The coaching stuff, you know what I mean? Like, each coach on each side is like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a couple of things, couple of nuances. Like, Marcus Smart taking a 3-pointer at the end of that just shouldn't happen at all. Like,
it was open, man.
He's open. He was 4th. He was 4 of 9 at that point. When he
took by the way, Bill Simmons crying about Marcus Smart being 4 for 10 from 3 is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
4 for 10. I mean, why? That's a decent percentage. 40%.
Not decent. It's really good.
Yes.
It's really good. 40% is a really good percentage. I promise.
Yes.
Yeah. I just don't want. I think because his shot, he takes too long to set a shot up. Like Marcus Smart, he takes too long. So is it the right play? Yes, but the long windup it takes him to aim his shot to make a 3. You know what I mean? It's just, it doesn't work. So it's going to be the matter of who figures it out. Like, who figures it out and just say, yeah, we can win the series if this happens. You know what I mean? Don't know.
And to give a piece of gambling advice, the Celtics will cover whatever the spread is.
Yeah.
Let's see what this.
Throw it in my face.
It's 7 points right now.
They
7
are going to beat the shit out of Philadelphia tomorrow night. Trust me. Like I think this ends in 6 in the Celtics' favor, personally.
Jeez, that's bold.
But Game 5, I feel the script goes Game 5, Celtics blow out. Game 6, the Celtics beat them in hilarious fashion, like somebody makes a buzzer beater to win the game, something like that. But the Game 6 will be close. Game 5, I don't think it'll be close.
That's the good thing about this playoffs. There's no clear cut answer.
Yeah. And the basketball is still good despite that.
Right.
No, I was going to say, Kev, to go for that tangent, I'm moving it a bit to Suns Nuggets. Pretty much, if you've been stacking like Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, Nikola Jokic points every game for like the past 3 games, you're doing pretty well for yourself because it's like for the Suns, they have literally no one at all that can score besides Kevin Booker. I almost said Kevin Booker.
It's easy to do that though because Kevin Devin, I did that too. It's easy to do that.
Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. I mean, we have DeAndre Ayton, but the thing with DeAndre Ayton.
Oh, please.
No, but the thing is like he's so tall, and he's like he should be doing a lot better than he actually is.
He's not interested.
Jack Landale, Jack Landale, whatever the fuck his name is, he's outperforming him, and I don't know.
Ayton is not interested. He's not interested.
Listen,
like
I know people who are based in Phoenix, and I've heard some stuff about DeAndre Ayton. Let's just say it checks out. I'm gonna just leave it at that.
He's not interested.
It checks out, and I know like Robert Sarver still owned the team by the time that it came around that DeAndre Ayton for DeAndre Ayton to get paid, and thus when he was having his contract dispute, the public was kind of like, okay. If we side against DeAndre and then we're siding with Robert Sarver, so fuck that. And it was just like, pay the man. This is why they didn't want to. This is why it ain't really a Sarver being cheap thing because Sarver gave Chris Paul's old ass like $150 million for 4 years.
He did.
So it ain't the cheap part. It's just sometimes DeAndre Ayton plays basketball a lot like Andrew Bynum. There it is. I'll just say it just straight, just like that.
Damn. And the funny thing, and you know what? When you say that and I hear it out loud, I want to agree, but Bynum was all of what, 18, 19? You know what I mean? He was in the league.
Oh, okay, you know young. What? Let me say it a different way.
Mm-hmm.
And DeAndre Ayton plays basketball like Bynum after Bynum got paid. Once Bynum got paid, Bynum's like, fuck this. I'm done with this. Why? I came here to get generationally wealthy. I did that. I'm done. Fuck y'all.
Yeah. Like I'm watching Jokic just grab like 19 rebounds. I'm like, Ayton,
I mean, that's Jokic.
But Ayton is a good rebounder. He's not a bad rebounder. He's a good rebounder.
Does not look like he wants to be there.
He's just
he wants to rebound.
No, it's like wanting to rebound is boxing out. Wanting to rebound is fighting for tips. Like he's just literally watching people like play volleyball. Like just it's just so bad.
I mean, KD and Booker are both out rebounding him, and they're both. I mean, Booker's well smaller than Ayton, and KD's around the same size. But like, KD's not trying to rebound out there; he's trying to score. So it's like,
I wanted to save this series for last because I know there's something we have to talk about. So I just want to pivot back to Golden State and the Lakers.
I just want a close game. I'm tired of the nasty ass blowouts every single game.
It's not going to happen because the Lakers are clearly the better team. The Lakers are clearly the better team when their shit is together. Like they're the better team. Like when AD is doing what he's doing and their role players, they're the better team. Unfortunately, AD takes games off. So is tonight going to be the day he takes a game off and Golden State wins by 30? It might possibly be. Also, LeBron is doing exactly what I said he's going to do.
Oh, goodness.
He's doing 21 points in the first half, 2 in the second. It's hard, guys. It's so hard. It's so hard for him.
Can we add some context? This is the game in which the Lakers blew up. Yeah, the Lakers blew out the Warriors by like 30 points.
No, that's the one
to be fair, I want to hear what he said. What he said LeBron is gonna do. What did you say LeBron was gonna do?
He's going to do like 20, maybe 25 points, and that's it. He can't will this team to win. It has to be Anthony Davis and everybody else.
Objectively true.
Right.
So I don't think the man is healthy. Above anything else, I don't think the man is healthy.
Bro, he 21 points in the first half, completely dominant.
Yep.
And then he just faded. Like it was you, and they lost by like what 30 something. He just faded.
Like I
and
think
Anthony
part
Davis
of it
doesn't show up.
was. I think part of it was like you can't really expect LeBron to go balls to the wall for a 4 quarter. Like that's just not realistic at this point. Number one, and number two, like the Lakers are really quick to hit the off button.
Yes,
like, and they're just like, listen, our best or second best, however you want to characterize LeBron at this point, player, a guy we can't win without or live without or whatever you want to call it, is 38, and he's compromised health wise. Listen, we get down 10, we shut it down, dog. Like whatever. We see all.
It's over. It's over.
We see all
it's
the
over.
game. And I mean, to be fair to them, it's worked so far. Like it's worked. They're just like, listen, man. Game 2, I saw Darvin Ham, and granted, I don't usually take body language cues of because that can mean anything. But once I saw Darvin Ham on the sideline, game 2, chumming it up, laughing his head off on it, I'm like, all right, the Lakers might have something for these niggas. Game 3, man, they might. And then LeBron when he was walking off the court, and then game 3 came, and game 3 happened, and we saw how it went.
Right.
But yeah, LeBron is he's going to give what he can at this point, and what he can give is not 4 quarters of just being LeBron James. He might be able to do that once every 10 games or so, but he's old, B's compromised. But one thing I will say though about LeBron, and I have grown so much in the fact that I don't generally argue about LeBron James with the crazy anymore. This goes on both sides. I'm not even talking about those people who hate him, even though they're the most psychotic. I'm talking about the people who love him too, because people are just way too invested in arguing about LeBron James instead of just appreciating him. So I'd rather just stay out of it. But I will say this though. LeBron is clearly pacing himself. We could all agree. We all have eyes. He's clearly fucking pacing himself, right? And it's been 20 years of LeBron having arguably the most impressive career in NBA history, given the longevity, how much he's won, this, that, and the fucking third. And he's won in a whole lot of different ways, doing a whole lot of different methods, whatever. And you still have people telling LeBron how he should be playing basketball. Guys, I think he knows himself better than you do, number one. I think he knows how to win more than you do, number two. Number three, he's fucking 38 and hurt, dog.
Yeah.
Like,
lower your expectation. Or as the kids would say, be fucking for real.
Yeah, but
they for real for a change, bro.
They won't, and that's the thing. Like this series is about AD as much as it is about LeBron.
Yeah.
No.
The whole playoffs for them is about AD. AD,
right.
Like I don't know how many dominant games you're gonna get out of him. I have no idea. You have to ask him. It seems like it's on his kind of time. Whatever he wants to do, he's gonna fucking do. I have no idea what to predict from Anthony Davis, right? But if they're going to win a championship, it needs to be Anthony Davis playing like he did the last game and how he did in game, how he plays every other game. It needs to be
right.
Yeah, it has to be like the Lakers. It has to be like the bubble, right? For the Lakers when AD was dominating the bubble, pretty much.
Right.
Like
LeBron
was still playing at a top like 5 level,
right?
And AD turned into like Hakeem Olajuwon, Kevin Durant love child, which is still one of the most outrageous things I've ever seen in NBA history. Because like we know AD dominates on defense, and we know he could give you 28 a game. Bro, he was making like 43% of his threes. It made zero sense. Like that whole run made no fucking sense. But they cannot live without him dominating to some degree because LeBron's not doing it anymore like that. At least at this very current juncture this year, like LeBron's not going to go out there and give you 35, 10, and 8. He's just not. Like he'll give you 24, 8, and 8 if you want, 21, 8, and 8, sure. He's not going to like LeBron's not grabbing a whole game by a throat. He could do it for a quarter. He can do it for maybe a half. He's not doing it for an entire game. He's fucking pacing himself.
In this series, he's going to rely on other players.
Yeah,
I do think D'Angelo Russell will also have to step up a little bit. Like he had a good closeout game versus Memphis. He has a couple of good games here and there. I think AD and D'Angelo Russell have to really step up.
Yeah,
LeBron will be more like a facilitator.
LeBron is actively deferring to Austin Reeves and D'Angelo Russell. That should kind of tell you where his health is, bro.
Yeah.
Like LeBron has never really been one to defer. Now, one could say maybe he's doing it in his old age. But I watched the Lakers this year. He was not doing this 3 months ago. He wasn't.
No, he was not. He was dominant.
I don't think I've ever seen LeBron be more comfortable with a role player than he is with Austin Reeves. He's very comfortable with that guy. And that goes back to even pre-injury. So maybe you were always going to land here, but LeBron's injury accelerated the process. Maybe. That's very possible here. But regardless, they need AD needs to be their best player for them to, and on a somewhat, I don't even know, consistent. I have no idea because they're what now 6-3 in the playoffs with AD basically every other fucking game. Maybe they can win this way. I have no.
But listen, I don't know if they can because if they lose tonight, then he has to be AD in Game 5 and win. Then
listen, their
you know what I mean? If it goes
to winning is winning tonight. Like their cleanest path to winning that series is winning tonight. Could they win if they lose? Could they win the series? Yeah. Does it become exponentially harder? Also, yes. They need to win tonight. And in Game 5, you might see a checkout special. You might see y'all up 18-4. Let's see y'all in Game 6. Let's see y'all in Game 6. No problem.
Do you think LeBron's pacing? I know Case mentioned this. Do you think LeBron is pacing himself to play with Bronny somewhere, sometime? Because I know Case mentioned this, and I know Bronny's now in USC. He has
not
one more
in the
year.
Playoffs, but yeah. I don't think he pacing in the playoffs. I think he pacing in general, but LeBron's going for two things. LeBron's going for 40,000 points, and LeBron was playing with his son. This was just his final two things. If the ring is happening, it's happening this year. It has to happen this year. It can't happen next. It's not going to happen next year because I don't know how the Lakers comprise that team if they lose this year. I don't know how they fix that and come bring that team back, especially if they don't go to Western Conference Finals or NBA Finals. I personally feel like LeBron is going to try to win this year, but at his own pace, and then that's it. It's like, all right, my son is coming within a year, and I could be done at 40, and I probably score my 40,000 points somewhere between 39 and 40, and that's it. That's all she wrote. Like that should be it. I am at that point, right? LeBron scoring 40,000 points. There's really nothing more you can say. Like 40,000 points, even the biggest Jordan fan, even if you compile the years he didn't play, I can't look at 40,000 points, 10,000 rebounds, 10,000 assists, 4 or 5 championships and be like, nah, he need to go. Like 40,000 points is a lot of fucking points. You know what I mean? So it's and then saying I play with my son and possibly passing the torch legacy and doing things the way he's doing it, like. It's a storybook ending somewhere.
He still has that crazy 10-point streak of scoring at least 10 points every game that's going back to at least 2016. It's been a while since he scored less than 10 points. That shit's more wild to me than anything. Because
that's not going to happen. Like that streak is going to go for a long time because LeBron is just built to either like he's not built to score like 7 points unless he's completely broken down. Like unless he scored 7 and he got hurt and then that was it. But he would have to literally score under 10 and then get hurt for that to happen. But LeBron is physically built and his game is built for him to put up points. It's impossible. It's like it's damn near impossible to stop LeBron from scoring 20. You know what I mean? Like much less 10. But like I said, pacing. I have my theories, but LeBron got to 38,000. And he got hurt, and I say hurt because it felt like it wasn't a major injury. He was going for like a week or a couple of weeks. Comes back, and then he really got hurt, and then he stood out. But that first injury, I don't feel he was hurt. I feel like I made a 30-something thousand points. I'm done. I'm a coach.
You think he left the basketball game without actually being injured? Like that's what we're doing.
No, he made the 30,000 points
in the fourth quarter. He left because he was not actually injured. That's what we're doing.
I don't think he was hurt. It was something I feel like LeBron could have played through. Yes, the real injury that happened, the groin injury, because it's a repeated nagging injury. No, but that first injury after the 38,000 points, no, I don't think he was really hurt. I think he was like, hey, I did what I had to do. You guys can do a run without me, whatever. I'll be back. And then he came back and then he got hurt for real. And it's like, oh shit, I really got to sit out and. We got to make the playoffs while I'm sitting out. And he came back in time for the playing and stuff like that. I mean, come on, man. Yeah, that's a wild theory. But remember, load management, taking days off and stuff like that, it is happening. And
whether you do it has arrived.
Listen, whether you do it legitimately with an injury that you milk, or you just say, "Hey, ouch! I sprained my ankle, my pussy hurts," and you want to stay out for 2 or 3 games. However you do it is fine. You know what I mean? I feel like guys should be able to take time off, and LeBron being 38 should have some days to take off. You know what I mean? He's done pretty damn everything he can do with an NBA player. Like,
Take your PTO.
Take your PTO. But circling back to that series though, because I definitely wanted to, kind of do that in a different order. The key thing for me about the Phoenix and Nuggets series is that Devin, like when I said with the episode with Kyle, I was like, Devin Booker needs to shoot more threes. Devin Booker's shooting more threes, and he's making them. And he's making them at a 40-some% clip. I don't care if he's not a 3-point shooter.
40. He making that a 50% clip
right now. I don't care if he's not a 3-point shooter. Devin Booker is a shooter.
Bro, Devin Booker, I don't think people understand, dog. Devin Booker's on a heater that we literally have never seen. Like playoff-wise, like he's on a 60, 50, 90 right now. Dog, you don't see that unless it's NBA 2K. Seriously,
right, unless you're playing the game.
Right. You legitimately do not see that. Like 60, 50, 90 for a 10-game stretch or whatever, however many games they play in the playoffs so far is insane. Like it's insanity.
Yeah, he's walking
clearly the best player in the playoffs.
He's walking to 35 points pretty easily these days, which is absolutely like ever since Chris Paul went down, which is so funny because a lot of people for years, like these announcers, like, oh my God, Devin Booker has Chris Paul. Now he can finally play basketball again. And now that Chris Paul's hurt, it's like, oh, Devin Booker was always a good player. They was just on the fucking bad team, and he can play basketball. Shocking.
Devin Booker's also grown in that time period, but I'm going to make a weird comp.
Oh,
I think Chris Paul for the Suns is kind of like what Tom Thibodeau is for the Knicks. Let me explain. I think both parties, the Suns and the Knicks, needed a stabilizer. They needed a stable. They needed somebody to stabilize the troops, however we want to call it, a culture changer. I know, I hate that damn term, but a culture changer, right? Tibbs helped do that in New York. Chris Paul helped do that in Phoenix. Now, obviously, Chris Paul's situation is a little bit different because he's just a declining old player. Whereas Tibbs, you could easily look and make the argument like, all right, he got us here. It's a little bit stale. We need somebody else to get us over the hump. What Chris Paul was brought there to do, it's not needed anymore. Like, they don't necessarily need his leadership the way they did 2-3 years ago. They don't really need his floor generalness, I guess you want to call it. Devin Booker just does just fine in that regard. Granted, you don't necessarily want him tiring himself out in that way, having to go score 40 points, run offense, create for everybody else. You don't necessarily want to do that. Kevin Durant could take some of the load off of him. You can get a replacement level point guard for like $12 million to do the trick and not paying $40 million. But what Chris Paul is not necessarily, if Devin Booker is going to play like this, Chris Paul can set out as long as he wants. The problem with Chris Paul, the way we looked at it when he got hurt in the first place, was we thought, oh God, a team of like 4 good NBA players just lost one, right? But now Monty is like, okay, if I have Devin Booker playing like this and Kevin Durant's Kevin Durant, I'm going to actually put people who can shoot around them. Novel fucking concept. So now you can't just sit there and send 3, 4, 5 people at both of them and say, all right, y'all not going to do nothing. I dare these other people to shoot because they will shoot and they will knock the shit down. Like Terrence Ross and Landry Shamet are nobody's great NBA players, but they can shoot a jumper. And they can shoot an open jumper. And we saw that over and over. And the thing is with the Nuggets and how they got to approach this, and it's easy for me to sit here and say because A, I'm not coaching the Nuggets, and B, I'm just a random nigga with an opinion. But you might have to just. It sounds crazy in theory. You might have to just let KD and Booker go crazy and live with it. I know that sounds outrageous, but like, listen, if they want to both score 40 and like the rest of the team scores 20, you still got a shot. Yeah. If one of them scores 40, the other one scores 36, and now you're letting Landry Shamet make 8 open threes, you're gonna lose. Like that, there's no around this. You're gonna fucking lose.
Right.
So like it might, and it's easy for me to say because I'm not coaching them and I'm not playing on the court. To see a guy bust my ass repeatedly and be like, oh, you know what? That's okay. It's part of the game plan. It's hard to do that. I get it. But if you're going to overreact to them and send 2-3 people at them, you might get sent home by other dudes.
Yes.
And the Booker and Durant going to get theirs anyway. We saw it.
Yeah, that 36 apiece was
yesterday, and they were sending 2-3 dudes at them all game.
yeah.
Mhm.
So I don't know what they're supposed to. There's no right answer here per se. Obviously,
Yeah.
when you got two dudes, when Kevin Durant is your second best scorer, God bless. God bless, because what are you reasonably supposed to do about this?
Yo, Booker
Yeah,
was.
both.
I'm
The
sorry.
crazy
Booker
thing
was
of- oh,
14
go
of 18, and Kevin Durant was 11 of 19. Like,
Yeah,
There's not much you
25
can
and
do.
37.
and 6 of 8 combined from three. I mean, five.
You know
No,
what?
5 of 8. 5 of 8 combined from three. Like,
You know what the crazy thing is about Booker and Kevin Durant is not only they're scoring, but they're also like facilitating too. Like KD had like what 7, 8 assists, and Booker's averaging like what 6, 7 assists. Like both of these guys are facilitating pretty well, and they're both scoring, and they're both rebounding too. So it's like, what exactly? Like this is some crazy stuff we're seeing
and
right
Ayton
now.
is there for vibes.
Yes, like this is some crazy stuff. This really is like some like this is what the Nets envisioned when they had KD, Kyrie, and Harden. And they got none of that, but they're getting this, and the Suns are getting this right now. But the Nets thought they were having
They
this,
got
but
none
they
of
weren't.
that. Nice little dig there. They got none of that.
None of
They
it.
did, but the Suns
None
are
of that.
getting it right now because it's
No soup for you.
like if you're conceding and actually letting these two guys score and then hoping and praying that Landry Shamet doesn't make his shots, you're kind of doomed. I mean, the Nuggets are trying their best with Nikola Jokic, but I mean,
He's so.
I feel like the Nuggets play better when Nikola Jokic doesn't go crazy. Like when he's facilitating and everything, the Nuggets seem to.
Yeah,
play
when
better.
he's grabbing 18 rebounds and having
having like 16 assists. Yeah.
Right? Yeah, of course you can't stop that. But when
Yeah,
he has to
because
score
the thing is, like,
53,
Jokic only scores that much when the other people are on some bullshit.
right?
Like that's the thing. Like if the other people are making these shots, it's like, hey man, here, have fun, shoot.
Right. You know what I mean?
I don't want to shoot the ball 35 times. I will if I have to though.
Mhm.
So it's like it's like Jokic, Jamal Murray had the most deceptive stat line of all time because he was on some bullshit the majority of the game yesterday.
Mhm.
And then Michael Porter took one of the single worst 3-point shot attempts I've ever seen. Like when they were in transition in the fourth quarter, it was like 3-on-2, and he pulled up in the middle of the floor and took it. And then I think DeAndre Ayton must have got a piece of it from. It was one of the worst 3-point attempts I've ever seen in my life. One of the worst.
Mhm.
But I don't know what Denver is supposed to do. It's kind of just. If that like Devin is the best player in the series, which is crazy because Jokic on the other side, but Devin has been that good.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant's still Kevin Durant.
Mhm.
I don't know what you're supposed to do.
And Jamal Murray had 28. I mean, I think with Denver, they're not going to be able to do much defensively to stop Booker and Durant. So, like you said, you couldn't afford to let one of them go off, but you can't stop them neither. Because even in a bad shooting night, Durant had like 29 in a bad night shooting. You can't stop those two guys from scoring.
Yes.
Your best bet is to hope that everybody else doesn't play well. For the most part, the role players and their remaining starters, you want to call them that, stuck. Like DeAndre Ayton is there for vibes. You know what I mean? Cameron Payne is, I don't know why he's there at all. But, this you have to hope that role players don't play well. You know what I mean? Can Booker even if Booker scored 40 and Durant scored 30, that's only 70 points. 70 points is not enough to beat Denver. It's everybody else. So if Kevin's saying, hey, stop everybody else and let them two go off, I mean, yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's good in theory, but guys are gonna get doubled. You don't want to get killed by one guy because I mean, shit me not, bro. I think Booker could easily go off for 60 easily if they just let him cook. Easily
He
go
could.
off for 60.
He
So
could.
he
could.
But we're talking about the game, and nobody was talking about this game. Everybody was talking about this beautiful incident that happened during the game.
Kogi landing. That's what happened there. Jokic, boy, trying to rip it away from Matt Ishbia, and then the little shove. Oh, wow, boy.
Matt Ishbia did play for Tom Izzo, so he's unafraid, I'm sure.
A little bit of maybe a flop from Ishbia there. Wow.
That flop, shout out to that DVAC flop from Ishbia. Kev, what are your thoughts on that whole interaction between Jokic and the GM from the Suns?
Listen, about the flop. Part of me wants to be have a little bit of sympathy because Jokic's arms are like 3 of my thighs. So it's like, all right, maybe he's legitimately just big enough to just move you in that kind of way. Obviously, the arms up is what it is. We know what that was for, right? But the whole exchange, and it's insane because it's like, and granted, this made me realize I follow too many fucking Suns fans. I don't even know how that happened, but this made me realize I follow too many Suns fans on Twitter. But they're all like, do you really think he held the ball on purpose? Yes, I'm not blind. Yes, I think he held the fucking ball on purpose. What you mean? What do you mean? First of all, this is not like some. If the owner had no basketball background whatsoever, okay, I can squint hard enough and understand your point. That man played D1. He played D1 basketball.
Yes.
Like, he didn't play much, granted, but he played D1 basketball. He's very familiar with this. His player was down. And Jokic was trying to get a 5-on-4. Well, he was just trying to help his player up. So why not let the ball go then? And give your full attention to helping the player up. Listen, the push was what it was. If you want to call Jokic wrong, sure. I don't really care. Like, 2 people touched him. You know me and fans. You know how I feel about fans and how they should get hands put on them. So I cannot be the same one to sit here and admonish Jokic for pushing a fan who was actually an owner after they touched him first. I can't be that guy. I'll let other people do that. The owner, to me, should be banned from the rest of the playoffs. That's how this is supposed to go, to me, because he actively tried to influence the fucking outcome of a basketball game. We can sit here and be naive and stick our heads up our asses and pretend like we didn't see what happened, but he owns the team. And one of the players that he fucking employs was on the ground, and Jokic was trying to get a 5-on-4 going in the other direction, and he held the goddamn basketball. He tried to influence the fucking outcome of the game. They need to tell his ass, you can't show up here no more. You can sit in the box, do whatever you want. It's your team, after all. Sit in the box, sit somewhere that ain't here, but he should be barred from the seats for the rest of the fucking playoffs for that shit. And the idea of suspending Jokic, granted he didn't actually get suspended, is positively absurd. Like, what the fuck are we doing? Now, granted, like, could you say, if it was somebody else, maybe we're having a different. Yeah, sure. We could, if and buts were candies and nuts, we don't have a Merry fucking Christmas, okay? The fact of the matter is, Jokic was in the situation, and them suspending him because the owner did some fuck shit would have been outrageous. As a matter of fact, I don't even think he should have got a tech, personally. Or fine, you want to give him a tech, cool. You should give a tech to the Suns. I don't even just call it the Suns. Don't even give it to a direct person, since it was somebody in the stands, whatever. Because he delayed the game intentionally. Give him a tech too. Well, how is that exchange end with the Suns getting a point? That's bullshit, bro. That's bullshit. That should not have happened. There should be a double tech at best. Go ahead, Drew.
So there's a lot going on, Kev. You mentioned how, if it was someone else. Well, I have news for you, Kev. Your favorite player in the league actually tweeted about that. Damian Lillard was actually like, but let this be Draymond. I better be going different. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, I know what angle you're going for, and fine. If you pick literally almost any other black player, but like Draymond, literally almost any other black player, sure, I would get you. If you had said Anthony Simmons, I don't know why I thought about him. Simmons, Desmond Bain, Jamal Murray, I would have been like, okay, cool. I get what you're saying. You probably are right. You picked Draymond Green. Of course they would have given him a fucking tech. He kicks people in the nuts. He's invincible when he gets one technical foul. He gets one technical foul.
Quite frankly, if you're going to keep it a bean, the conversation might have been different. I don't think the result would have been different. Like, I don't think they're suspending Draymond Green for wrestling a ball from somebody and pushing them. Like, do they fine him? Maybe that happens. They fine him. Maybe they give him. I mean, Jokic did get a tech. Maybe he gets a tech and a fine. I don't think they suspend him for that. Like, they suspended him for A-Town stomping somebody's chest, okay? And this is after years and years and years and years and years of incidents. Damian Lillard is cool with Draymond Green. Draymond Green is an impending free agent. I'll let you do math on that one. So Damian is just kissing his ass. I don't know if this is going to carry over, like, once he signs somewhere, anywhere, I don't on the same team, elsewhere, whatever. But this is recruiting. Dame is not fooling me. he can fool somebody else. He's not fooling me. I see right through his shit. Whatever. But yeah, he could have picked anybody else, but he chose Draymond because that's what he's doing right now.
And then overall for the entire situation, it's ironic because we talk a whole lot about like putting hands on the fans, and I mean, if this was like say Russell Westbrook and like this owner, there might have been another Malice in the Palace again with an owner in front
We
of him.
need it. The streets need it. Like we need a Malice in the Palace. The streets need it. By streets, I mean me. We need it.
That would have been crazy for sure. But yeah, overall, I mean, the guy was flopping. This was just a non-event that was made crazy because the owner wanted to have even more power than he already did, holding the ball and everything. And Jokic handled it well. The game was allowed to continue. Thankfully, the Suns didn't win by exactly 1 point. Otherwise, this whole thing would have been pretty interesting. But overall, it is what it is. It was just a funny situation because homeboy really was just like flopping like he got shot. And it's just like,
man, that shit was terrible.
And I like how they ejected that other fan. I do like how they ejected the other fan too, even though the guy was holding the ball, but the other fan was touching it. They were like, "Yeah, you gotta go." I mean,
right?
Our owner's holding the ball, but who the fuck are you? Get the fuck out of here!
Yeah.
So I enjoy that part, and also the Suns. It seems like there are always like some fans doing some bullshit or something. I don't know, maybe it's the Charles Barkley and them, but it's like every time there's some fans doing some bullshit. Case,
I'm going to be a stickler.
Uh-oh.
I pulled up the NBA fan code of conduct. Guests who engage in fighting, throwing objects, or attempting to enter the court will be immediately ejected from the arena. And I'm going to say one other thing. Guests will enjoy the basketball experience free from disruptive behavior, including foul or abusive language and obscene gestures. Those two things. We've seen fans do obnoxious things, and we've seen NBA players like snitch. Like, hey, get him out of here. We see LeBron, hey, get him out of here. Westbrook, get him out of here, right?
Right.
Being the owner of a team does not make you an exempt. I know it does because you own the team, but it doesn't make you exempt from the code of conduct. Because if not you, then who?
Mm-hmm.
He should have been ejected. He should be fined as the owner. Because at the end of the day, if a player, let's say that ball went on the Phoenix bench and somebody in street clothes held the ball and Jokic was trying to get the ball from them, what do you think would have happened?
They might get banned for life.
Yes.
Legit.
Like it. So when people are like, "Oh, is Jokic going to get suspended?" And I'm like, are you guys watching the interaction? He tried to get the ball. The owner was holding the ball. He looked at him and then he was like, "Oh man, back up." You know what I mean? Get off of me. Once you make physical contact with a player, it's on site. It's on site. Because I'm not sure if Jokic knew that was the owner or if he cared that was the owner. And we know how Jokic gets down. Either he knows you don't care or he doesn't know you and he don't care. If Jokic had felt, hey, I don't know who that is, and this person's grabbing the ball and he took a swing, could have been a whole other situation if he took a swing. You know what I mean? I'm not too sure if he knew who he was. But I seen somebody from Phoenix, and I don't want to give their at name any attention, but he said, maybe the owner didn't see somebody was standing up and the owner didn't see Jokic standing there. Jokic is 7 foot fucking tall. You're sitting courtside. What the fuck you mean he didn't see?
The funniest part about that is Jokic is wide too. That's the funniest part. Like it's one thing if you say like, and actually it doesn't even make sense because if he's that much taller than you, you turn around like you're gonna see something, chest,
something,
pelvis, whatever, you're gonna see something. So and he's wide, so I'm not sure how exactly that where he didn't see him. Okay, so he's visually impaired. Like is that where we're going with?
Bruh. It's like the water carrying for an owner was so egregious, and it was like, all right, man. So listen, we don't have to do this every single time somebody fucks up. I would like it for one time people was looking at something and say, you know, hey, he fucked up.
Like, bro, you're not gonna get any of his money. That's the thing. Right. Like if you were fine, I would do the same. I'm shameless like that. Like if I was just some billionaire was giving me millions, I could be the most shameless person out there, buddy. Trust me. But not for nobody who's not paying me. You got to be out your fucking mind, bro. Like you're shilling for this guy. He will never know you exist. He doesn't know you. Why are you doing this?
I'll say
sure
this
he was trying to stop the game. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Very clear. Very clear.
Fucking clear. I have eyes and common sense. Yes,
Right. Why wouldn't an NBA owner not know who Jokic is? Like that? What?
bro.
Someone
What?
actually tried to say that he didn't know who.
Bro,
Jokic
I'm not
was.
giving him any shine. It was a stupid ass tweet when I read it. It's still stupid now. It just makes no sense that people do all this water carrying for.
Imagine
just
not knowing
people
who
in
the
general.
2-time MVP is as an owner. That doesn't even.
Who's your op, right?
big
Who's
as
your
hell.
op in the series? He's acting like, you know what's funny? They act like this was a pickup game outside in the ball, like they're in the playground, and the ball happened to bounce next to the owner's foot. Oh, look, a basketball! Like,
Yeah,
come
right.
on, man. This isn't the inner
But he
city.
was trying to make sure his team had a competitive advantage.
Right. They're trying to paint it like it was an inner city game or something like that, and some unknown billionaire white man walked over and just happened to pick up the basketball.
Do
and
I
hit
think the
game,
former basketball player was trying to give his basketball team that he owns an advantage?
a leg up?
Yes, actually. Yes, I do.
Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. Out of your fucking mind. Yes, I do, bro.
Yeah, man. But hey, listen, the series is a great series. And yeah, I appreciate Denver's inability to close because it's going to make it's a great series because no one felt like Denver being up 2-0 was something that was impossible to come back from. Like no one was like, the series is over. Nobody did. Nobody. Their ineptitude is so.
We questioned Phoenix's depth, yes, but nobody thought.
No one felt like, it's over.
Right.
But no one really trusts Denver. Like it's even though they're number one seed, it's just hard. I mean, granted, they've had injuries in the past, Michael Porter, Jamal Murray, but it's like I can't really trust them. And I mean, it's harder to trust a team when the other team has Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, and they're averaging almost 100 points a game. It's kind of hard to really trust that team.
Denver is kind of they're not built like Dallas, but Denver kind of gives you shades of the old Mavericks team with Dirk in them, and they're like, they're a good, dominant regular season team, but when it comes to the playoffs, it's like, and it's not because Jokic's not showing up. It's like, they're healthy. Right
the rest of the team is flawed. Like they have a lot of competent basketball players, but like the higher end guys are prone to disappearing. Jamal is very prone to disappearing. MPJ is very prone to disappearing, and that makes it tough.
Right, right. And if Jokic, like we said earlier, if Jokic got to do all the scoring, then But moving forward, I'm sorry I don't have a good segue for this, but I just. Dylan Brooks, man. Dylan Brooks. The wording of this tweet by Shams, shout out to Shams, man, because people were kind of getting at him for the wording, like he said it. But the Memphis Grizzlies have informed pending free agent Dylan Brooks that he will not be brought back under any circumstances, league sources say. The strongest thing from that is the under any circumstances. Like I've never in my life heard that about somebody who didn't
an NBA player,
never
a free agent
who didn't fail a drug test, who didn't beat up anybody.
I never heard it even with them.
Yeah, like never. Like,
can I go? I'm so eager.
Oh, you're itching to get in here. Go ahead.
This is the equivalent of you're leaving your job and you must have just burned a bunch of bridges on the way out, and then put this man on do not rehire list. They took away. Did they pack his bags? We did Dylan Brooks. You gotta get the fuck out right now. Did they have a security officer next to him and packed his boxes and told him to leave? Because it's like you said, I've never in my life heard that about forget NBA. I've never heard that about any professional sports player ever in my life. No sports player, none. Football, basketball, baseball, hockey, whatever. None of that shit I've ever heard in my life. And you've had murderers, drug dealers. I don't know why I'm saying drug dealers, rapists. All these guys, they're welcome back to their team. Sometimes if there's no evidence. And then it's like, oh, your players you just fucking suck at the sport? Don't worry. Maybe someday you can come back as a veteran or a coach or something. Dylan Brooks is blacklisted from the Memphis Grizzlies. Under no circumstances can he even think about coming back to that team. He can't come back to watch the games. He can't come back. I don't know. Can he come back in the state? Is he far from the state? if they see him fly in, are they going to be like, get the fuck out?
He on the do not fly list.
What's going on?
He's black. That's bad funny.
They blacklisted him for sucking at the game of basketball. A lot of other players suck at basketball too. They're not getting blacklisted
Nah,
from their team.
it's big. It's bigger than him sucking at
And,
basketball.
and the last thing I want to say,
Mhm.
the moment that tweet came out, guess what else was trending? Not under any circumstances, but a whole bunch of Chinese basketball teams. Ni Hao, Shanghai Sharks, that Charles
I
Barkley
think
did
Chinese
with
symbol, like the Chinese lettering, was also
Yeah. It was crazy.
the Ni Hao gif of Shaq and Charles and everything. That shit was trending. It was like, damn, that's so much disrespect. Like,
Yeah.
Jesus.
If I was Dylan Brooks, I would cut my hair, and I would just go in the gym and go play ball anonymously and get my game up, and hopefully somebody picks him up and just come back next season as a serious ball player. I blame the media. I blame the fans for this. Oh, we need a villain. I blame everybody for that shit. You know how you're out, and Kev could probably relate. I don't know if you could relate to this, but you know how somebody's in school and you pump them up to go fight the wrong person.
Yeah,
You just know they're going to get the ass whipped, but you just don't give a fuck. You don't really like them. Dylan Brooks got pumped up to go against Bron because, again, people don't like LeBron. So they pumping up, yeah, you're the villain. Yeah, blah, blah, poke the bear. I don't like 40-year-olds. And then LeBron didn't necessarily deliver on like a 40-point game and like bury them, but still, it was like Jay-Z once said, you made them hype you to go against your rival, knowing good and goddamn well this is what I do. Yo, you cannot go at the head and miss. You can't. And you're going against Bron. And the thing about the NBA brotherhood, because there's a brotherhood, there's certain players that are Teflon that you can't talk bad or have remarks on and say whatever. You won't be back in this fucking league. Ask Carmelo Anthony how long he was sitting out.
We're not going to do this.
Shut up, Kev.
We're not going to do
shut
this.
up.
We're not
Shut
gonna
up.
Carmelo
Shut
Anthony
up.
is blacklisted?
Who did Carmelo Anthony talk bad about that? Now that he's blacklisted?
Listen. All I'm saying
Who?
is Carmelo Anthony's a bigger player than Dylan Brooks, and people didn't want him on the team. And we can say whatever about being out of shape or whatever case may be. He's a bigger player than Dylan Brooks, and he was on the team. We could say whatever about him being in shape, but guess who put the call in to get him on the team? Who put the call in?
LeBron
Ramon James. Thank you. You cannot go at LeBron. You cannot go at LeBron.
You can go at
and
LeBron.
miss. No, you can, but you
I
can't.
mean, you just
miss.
can't miss. You can't. Yeah, you can't miss.
You can't
right.
miss. You know what I mean? Like you could, you know what I mean? You could be Draymond Green, Steph Curry. You could be, just don't miss. And
But the thing is, with the LeBron thing. All right. First of all, as far as the language of the tweet, I don't think this came from Memphis personally. I feel like this came from Dylan Brooks, people trying to make him into a victim. That's how I perceive it. That's
really?
how yes.
Really?
That's how I because
That's
listen, Memphis doesn't have any incentive to go out there and bury somebody who, by all accounts, his teammates seem to like. We might not like him. Fine. His teammates seem to like him. After all, like I know this sounds goofy, but with basketball team camaraderie, like he was leading their little dance parties before the games and shit. Like that little stuff matters. They seem to like him. Whatever. I don't think, and it's a city that doesn't really attract massive free agents any fucking way. Granted, I don't think they're going out there and they're saying in the middle of the playoffs, no less. Yeah, we're not bringing this guy back under any fucking circumstances whatsoever. I don't think that came from them. I genuinely think that came from Dylan Brooks' agency. That's how I take that. I could be very fucking wrong, but like that's just not how you do business. If it did come from Memphis, that's extremely shitty. I don't even like Dylan Brooks. I've made that very, very clear. But he had some good moments for y'all. He played well sometimes. Y'all enabled this bullshit. Like y'all have a fake gangster playing point guard. Like y'all enabled all of this fucking bullshit, dog. Like
he's back in the club too.
Right. Y'all enabled all this bullshit, dog. So it's like you're mad at him for being him despite the fact that you enabled him to be him. So like if it came from them, it's whack. If it came from Dylan Brooks' side, okay, then fuck Dylan Brooks. But the thing with the LeBron stuff is, like, I genuinely think this has nothing to do with LeBron. Let me explain. Okay. The problem with Dylan Brooks is he's a good defender. He's a reasonably good defender. But he is very delusional about what he thinks he could be offensively. And thus, look, Bomani said it best. He had I think he said what? You got to have self-confidence to get in the league, but self-awareness keeps you there. That is perfect for Dylan Brooks.
That's great.
Perfect for Dylan Brooks. He is not self-aware. And if you believe the reports, and again, there's mudslinging going on both sides. Who knows what is true? But if you believe the reports, he wants an expanded offensive role and more money. Why in the fuck would I give him either one of those things? Why? What?
Under no circumstances for.
Go watch any game that John Morant has missed the last 2 years that Dylan Brooks played in. You know what he says? Yo, it's Dylan Brooks' time. Without fail. Every single fucking time. He thinks he's way better than what he is offensively.
It's Dylan time. Like Power Rangers.
You know, the funny thing is, Draymond Green, I mean, he plays good defense like Draymond Green does, and Draymond Green knows he can't shoot
He does
like
not
that
play
anymore.
good defense like Draymond Green.
No, he does not play defense on that level.
Okay.
But he's a reasonably good all-ball defender. Yes,
Right.
Correct.
But it's like, if he just like stopped trying to score all the
He
time.
undoes
and just,
everything he does by the time he gets the ball in his hands because he think he like that when he not. He
He's
think he
not.
like that.
He's
You not like that.
Who
You
said
are
that?
not like that.
Who said that?
I don't remember, but you not like that. You not like that, bro. You think you like that, but you're not. I can't remember who said that, but you not like that. You just not.
It's I don't mean to laugh at Dylan Brooks, but also I do. I really do. Like I really do mean to laugh at him. I hope
Dylan
it's
Brooks
not.
will get another contract from it.
Yeah,
you know what's gonna happen? Miami's gonna sign him for like 3 for 27, and he's gonna terrorize people for the next.
God,
That's what's gonna happen.
Jesus.
Mark
Welcome
it
to
down.
the culture.
Listen to me now. Believe me later. They're gonna figure out a way to sign him for like 3 for 27, whatever. And then Miami just gonna whip him into shape, and they're gonna tell him, "Hey man, you could that Memphis stuff is Memphis. That's them. You got to shut the fuck up if you're gonna sign. And you got to shoot the ball way less. Either you got to shoot the ball way less, or you got to get in the gym. You got to pick one.
Any way you see Dylan Brooks ended up on the Lakers next season?
It's possible.
Because
after all, listen, and not an apples to apples comparison, but remember, Kobe and Ron Artest played together. Like,
yeah.
Again,
and that series, remember that series?
Not better than Ron Artest.
Yeah,
but Ron Artest and Kobe wanted to bite each other's heads off, and then they ended up playing it together the next year
and win a championship together. Like,
right? I could conceivably see that happening. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, stranger things have happened, but you know, it's whatever, man. Moving on to baseball, and not in the way that you may think.
Oh. I'm offended. That shit offended me. That shit offended the shit out of me. Like, oh my god! Like,
how dare he twirl a baseball before throwing somebody out?
Like, oh my god!
How
like that.
Dare
he disgraced the name of baseball.
What is he doing?
Ruth
Bro, I saw somebody say, like, would Babe Ruth do this? I'm just like, didn't Babe Ruth point to right field before he hit a home run? Like, I said, y'all want to hit it over there. How is that different? Like, how is that not worse? How? He pointed to right field like, yo, I'm gonna hit it over there. I'm gonna hit it out. And he did.
There's a Dave Chappelle skit from the Chappelle Show. I think it was season 1. When he's asking people, have you ever seen the N1 basketball mixtapes and everything? So he's showing the clips, all the guys from N1 like doing all the basketball stuff. And then he was like, yeah, man, you know, they got baseball now. And, I wish I had the clip ready. But if you ever look up Dave Chappelle Show, N1 basketball, it's just look at that sketch. It's mad funny. I like what Wilder did. I love it. I love it. If you can do that and not commit an E6, more power to you. Because anyhow he fucked that up. That'd have been his last.
Oh yeah, he might have got pulled from the game for that shit, bro. Like he fucked it up. Yeah,
he could have been in the showers ASAP, like immediately. Because the thing about hot dogging in baseball, it only works if you're getting a guy out or you're scoring a run. You really can't hot dog too much because you can be like Ricky Henderson. Ricky Henderson was a notorious home run pimper, but he would pimp he would swing and because he hit line drives mostly, not really towering shots. I remember Ricky Henderson pimping a double, like a double. He swung. His swing was so beautiful, compacting, and he would pop his collar, and he swung
Man,
and
the
popped
popping my collar is my fucking favorite, bro.
and
I
the ball
love
hit
that
the
shit.
left field wall, and he had to he had to turn on his jets. Like I've seen him pimp a single before. Like you can't do stuff like that. You have to be sure of yourself.
You know the funny thing with Wander Franco and the whole thing is the run. I think it was like what Brian Reynolds or something. Like no one gets on Brian Reynolds. And I mean, this is going to sound slightly boomer, but I mean, I don't blame players for doing this. It happens. You see a ground out, and you're just like jogging along. You're just like, okay, I'm just jog. I know it's going to happen. But no one gets on Brian Reynolds for jogging. But Wander Franco doing whatever, it's like, oh my god, the horror. It's like, so you don't care if a player is not making the highest effort to get to first base. But a player just tosses a ball, and it's World War VI. It's like,
breaking news. The same people who are complaining about Wander doing what he does are the same people who usually complain about guys not running hard. Here pro tip. They're usually not complaining about the non-whites. Or they usually are complaining about the non-whites.
Yeah,
sorry, they usually are complaining about the non-whites. Yeah.
Yeah. Baseball be more fun with less white people. It's just baseball is more fun with less white. We've seen what the World
Baseball Classic. The World Baseball has be fire
with less white people. And people may hear this and be, oh, that's racist. How can you say this? Oh, Middle Eastern podcast. Fuck you, Case. Listen, SMD.
I agree with the last part. Fuck Case. No. Just
SMD. Suck my dick. It's a fact. Baseball's boring. It's a boring sport. And it needs some pizzazz, it needs some soul, it needs some style. You know when baseball was highly popular? You know when baseball was like at its highest popularity? This is after integration. This is after the color barrier is broken. All of a sudden, all these players are coming in. You know what sport was really popular? Negro League Baseball. And if it wasn't for the color barrier being broken, Negro League Baseball might have surpassed the MLB. It might have surpassed MLB because it was that entertaining. They had that much talent, and it was flair and pizzazz. And guys, Willie Mays catching the ball over his shoulder, like, come on, guys, like, come on, Ozzie Smith doing backflips and shit like that. This soul, like, I'm sorry, white people. Soul is.
I remember.
It's a beautiful thing.
I remember when they were saying, "Let the kids play." They were like, a couple of years ago, they were like, let the kids play. They had a whole marketing campaign about it. And then since then, they did not let the kids play.
Yeah, but they drew enough people right back to Boomerville.
Yeah, because I mean, they're trying to, I mean, granted, they have made changes that don't necessarily placate to the older community, I guess you want to call it that. But for the most part, baseball has been catering to old white dudes forever. Like that's just how it's
been around since 1800s, bro. It's I get it. It's an old white ass sport. It wasn't. It may have been fun for your great grandfather and his war medals. Shout out to Pappy and his war. I personally don't give a fuck. And it's not a disrespectful thing. I just personally don't give a fuck because we're in 2023 and we're still talking about like fucking like Raleigh fingers and shit like that. I want to like who cares? Like. All those records are tight. No one's going to get them. They're too far-fetched. Guys are not going to pitch. No one's going to have 300 wins. No one's going to hit for 700 home runs. We barely may get another 3,000 hitter, like 3,000 hit hitter maybe. Like maybe Mike Trout may get. I don't know. But this baseball is so old and so decrepit that a lot of these records, because these dudes are playing like back-to-back 9-inning pitching and stuff like that. Like, if you ever seen like Cy Young's record, like it's fucking ridiculous. Like, the best, who's the best hitter? Who do you say is the best hitter? Ty Cobb, who's like batted like 400, like millions of times. You'll never touch, you know what I mean? That's why they say the dead ball era and the live ball era, because what people don't know, a little tidbit, when you were allowed to cheat, the baseball was so dark and so dingy, you couldn't see it because guys were putting spit, mud, gum, tape, wax, car oil.
Yeah, referring to a baseball as dingy is very funny.
Bro, it was they said one game when like and the umpire had the ball and like he didn't see it coming. The reason why the dead ball era stopped because the player got hit in the head and died. That's why it stopped. This is a factual lesson. I know I talk a lot of conspiracy theory bullshit, but I also do my homework. The reason why the dead ball era was what it was because guys were allowed to weigh that ball down with a bunch of bullshit, and guys were getting 50 strikeouts in a game because no one could see the fucking ball. And the live ball era, when they started giving you white baseballs and multiple baseballs, and that's the difference between dead and live. It was like, the dead ball is literally a dead fucking ball. You couldn't see that shit at all. Like,
killed someone dead.
And if you played baseball, if you ever played baseball, and this is somebody who played baseball, and you play outfield, infield, wherever, when the ball's in the air, you're relying on seeing the white in the sky. Mm-hmm. Now imagine a dingy ass baseball in the air on an overcast day. Can you see? Come on. We're in a different era. Leave that shit alone. No one's gonna touch that. It's yours. You're enshrined. You pick and choose who you want in the Hall of Fame. You got great guys who belong, like Tim Raines. I don't know if Tim Raines has even made it yet, but you have great guys who
I'm pretty sure he did.
I
don't remember actually.
But there's so many guys who won't make the Hall of Fame. The steroid era guys who you refuse to put in the Hall of Fame. It's yours. You've won. It's yours. Get that shit up. Give it up. Just let other people have it. Let other people have fucking fun with the game. Let's enjoy the game for the rest of the modern era. We don't want that shit. We don't want Ty Cobb and Roger Hornsby. We don't fuck those guys. We don't want that. Nobody was alive to see that but your grandparents. And not to be disrespectful, it's 2023. If any of your parents are alive, grandparents are alive, your grandparents are alive right now in 2023, you can remember that, they're too old. They're too old. They're too old. And I'm being harsh, but the 108-year-old Cub fan, like I don't care what Dorothy. I don't care. I don't care.
Damn, your age is as fuck. Damn.
Because that's the problem with baseball right now.
I know I'll laugh, but I want this on the record that I didn't say any of this stuff.
No, because Kev wanted me to be anti this because of my thing with beaning. Like I like beating people getting hit with the baseball, whatever. But at the same time, there's some old rules I like, and there's some the new stuff. I like guys pipping home runs. It's awesome. Who shouldn't be staring at a moonshot? You know what I mean? But also feel like, hey, you showing me up, I'm gonna hit you in the back with a baseball. I don't want anybody to get hit in the head. But somebody should get hit in the leg or the butt. Fight. Kev likes fights.
I like fights.
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah, I watch Mets players like lead the league and getting hit, and nobody threw a punch. Nobody threw a punch, and nobody was clipping home runs. It was getting hit because they were just standing at the plate, and no one threw a punch. So you know what I mean. But my point, and just to move forward, just stop. Just stop baseball. Stop being corny. Stop being white. And one more reason why baseball needs to stop being corny and white.
We had a phenomenal day today. Nigger League Museum and Arthur Bryant's Barbecue.
I'm going to play that one more time, and this is why I know I'm on the money.
We had a phenomenal day today. Nigger League Museum and Arthur Bryant's Barbecue.
Now, I'm going to ask my fellow black men on this panel. Jude, have you ever slipped up and said cracker instead of cookies?
No.
Have you ever slipped up and said cracker instead of Caucasian?
No.
Kev, have you ever? Never? Why are they trying to tell us that this man made a slip up? It's like a Freudian slip. How do you slip into a racial term? How do you Freudian slip into nigga? That's a simple. How do you?
Man was just walking along one day and he just slipped into racial terms. Niggers, jigaboos, coons, all that stuff. It's just like a slip and slide.
Nigger League baseball. Now, so and Kev, correct me. I don't know what this gentleman's name is. But this was at the Oakland game, Oakland broadcaster. I don't know his name, and fuck that guy anyway. But the amount of mental gymnastics that people are trying to go through to absolve him from saying the Nigger League. Hey, listen. What you do in your home, your privacy is your own thing, but you're a broadcaster on national television. I'm sorry. I know Stephen A says nigga a lot because Stephen A's. Let me not say that. I know Stephen A says nigga a lot because Stephen A is the type of nigga to say nigga a lot. You know what I mean? As a nigga that says nigga a lot, I understand. You know what I mean? But as people using the NIGGA, how you want to call it, amongst friends, I don't give a fuck about the politics behind that shit. But what I'm saying is, if me and Kev are talking in a professional setting, and Kev is like, Kev, you know what's going on with Bobbin and County? Man, fuck that nigga. Oh, that's
right.
just Right. That's just us letting go of the mask because we have to play that survival role. But when a white person does something like that, they're just showing you who they are.
Listen,
you know, there's two funny things with that. Sorry, Kev. There are two funny things with that. A, the guy on the left who's acting like he's Black Panther or something, being like, it's like, damn, like did you have some good soul food or something before saying?
Probably did.
Like,
they did mention barbecue, but yeah.
And then B, it's just like, I'm shocked this made it even to Twitter because I don't know who exactly is watching Oakland A's broadcast. Like one of the 5 people, and one of the
it's funny because it didn't even make it to Twitter until it came out afterwards that he apologized about something. It didn't. And then people are like, oh, well, I wonder what he apologized for. And then they ran into that. Now, my 2 things is this. Do I think that he meant to say that to us? No. Now, big but here, I don't think that word slips out of your mouth if you ain't using it on the side. That's the problem. That's the thing. Like, do I think he meant to tell us that he went to the Nigger League music? No, I don't think he wanted to do that, bro. No, I don't. No, but do I think he might have said the Nigger League Museum 2 hours before that? Yes, I do actually. Yes, I do. And the second thing, and like, all right, I don't know if this man's gonna end up losing his job. If I had to guess, he probably won't. Like he'll just say, "Oh, it was a slip up," whatever. All right. Mind you, these little soliloquies before games, whatever, they are pre-recorded. Now, please tell me, it's one thing for him to say it. I get everything. How the fuck did that run past the producers and get past go to get on TV? How? It is pre-recorded like an hour before. An hour, 2 hours, or something like that before game time. That's just pre-recorded. How the fuck did it get past go to get on TV? How?
It's Oakland A's. It's like they probably think like 2 people are watching that shit. They're like, oh, 2 people watching that shit. I don't.
Let's do it live.
Then it makes it even easier to scrap it because if ain't nobody watching, then scrap it. You don't even have to do it over. We don't care. Nobody cares. You have to do it over. Put on some Reggie Jackson clips from the fucking 70s instead. Nobody cares.
Listen, you know what's funny about the whole thing when people say, "Oh, it was a Freudian slip." Let me just explain what a Freudian slip is for those who don't know. A Freudian slip is an unintentional error regarded as revealing subconscious feelings, right? And what does a Freudian slip reveal? What is a Freudian slip? Parapraxis, or the definition of Freudian slip, refers to an error in communication or memory that Freud believes reveals desires and urges from your unconscious mind. A Freudian slip can occur in many types of communications, as verbal or written communication. So when people are trying to say it was a Freudian slip, please remember that if that's what you subscribe to, you're basically saying subconsciously.
That's what he really thinks.
Yes.
That's what he really be saying. It's outrageous.
That's all. That's all. Really outrageous. Speaking of outrageous, things just get better and better this week. I don't know when. I think it happened yesterday, but this is awesome. Was he singing from
Nah. Run that back one more time, please.
Yeah.
One more time.
Genuine has been on the run of a lifetime being a fucking meme.
For like a solid 2 years.
He's just been a meme, and it's like, he's steering into this curve, bro, so hard, bro.
Does he not? First of all, does he not realize he's like 54 years old, bro?
No,
he does not realize. Like, bro, your old ass should not be doing this. When you was 30, fine, okay, do you, bro? You are in your 50s, bro. Go sit out somewhere.
The poor interpreter couldn't even do nothing there. He looked back and he's like,
"No, the interpreter doing signs while we cannot even see Genuine is so fucking funny."
But
music is still playing.
Was he
Genuine
singing?
nowhere in sight, and this guy is still.
I don't think he
Jude,
was singing.
Was he singing under the stage? Because it sounded like he was...
No. The music was just playing, dog.
No,
Yeah.
listen. Hold on, I gotta play it one more time. Just pay attention after he initially falls. Listen for like the amplified and then see if it was him. Because I'm like, did he fall and still try to keep singing? Listen.
Yeah,
Unless it's his background singing.
That maybe it was his background. I mean, he was not singing. That I can say confidently. But background singers, I'm not sure.
I want him to be on his back, like the show must go on.
Yo, every time I see Jay White, I'm laughing at him now. It sucks because that man had such a good run in the 90s and 2000s, but Jesus Christ, every time I see Jay White now, it's something to laugh at, dog. Every single time. At least he's okay and he's getting his checks. Good for him.
Right.
But man, like, but the guy doing the signing while we can't see Jay White. That gets me. Like, that's not the funniest part of the clip, but it gets me every time. Like, I watched that clip.
What else was he supposed to? Was he supposed to rescue?
I know the show got to go on, but it's still fucking funny though. Like, the song is playing. We can't see Jay White.
Was he supposed to? My thing is like, look at it. I was like, damn, maybe he really should have jumped down and tried to help him. He was like,
Jenny White was unintentionally trying to drag Action Bronson with him. He was trying to drag he gave him to go, and he just looked at him and said, all right, man, I guess I got to do my job. The show must go on. And he just keeps signing, bro.
Oh, God, so man. That was hilarious, so bro. You know, Jay Wine is an older crooner now. Sorry, he's an older crooner now. You know, he gets in his groove, but nobody quite gets in their groove like.
It's the moment you've all been waiting for. Pull up a seat and get off your feet for Jude's Grooves.
It's that time. It is that time. The time that we love and Jude hates. Jude's Grooves. Now, Jude, I have one question before you start. Okay. Do you know who Genuine is?
I do not.
Let's get into Jude's Grooves.
So, just as a warning, I read this and I told Kev, I texted him, this seems like Blue's Clues, because a lot of this shit was like, is this some like Blue's Clues shit? So, with that being said, here we go. I spit math, millimeter rhymes, kill a leader in lines. My nigga Peter got a heater of mine. Nigga still lying in the whack guy's bars. Only time they seen jail when they watching Oz. This is where I started wondering. I'm in the club, pissy drunk like da dee da. And mommy took a popper like da da dee da. Adios, kill your soul, then we bother your ghost. They call me Gordo. I sip the champagne that's in Porto. Okay. Playing Capicio. Man, you ain't nappy too. I like when Choka. Choka.
What?
Choka? It's Chocha, bro.
Chocha, whatever. Be nappy too. I treat life like a fast car, lower my speed. I try and chill and sell more records than Creed. Been a hustler, what? Way before Melvin Flint. A criminal, don't leave no prints. These dudes gave me a break and they ain't seen me since. Caught up with them, had them dudes straight hopping the fence and go. Homeboy, come to party. Oh, your girl was looking at me. Oh, she's a haggler. Nah, I'm not tagging her. Oh, wow. Different. But you don't want them boys to come over and start asking you, oh, what you want to do, nigga? Nothing. Oh, what you trying to do, nigga? Nothing. What you want to do, nigga? Nothing. What you want to do, nigga? Nothing. So, I'm just wondering, what is this song about? Like, I'm reading this right now. I'm trying to figure out, like, what is this about? Like, what's the purpose of this? Like, what is he talking about? It goes all over the place. like I didn't know if I didn't know how to read or something, but I'm just like, I'm really trying to figure out like what is he saying? What is he?
Oh man,
What is he trying to say?
man.
Noriega is one of the best bad rappers of our lifetimes.
Yes.
He's so horrendous, but it's so good at the same time.
Yo, the funniest thing with Nori was what, and somebody pointed out. He said, "Yeah, we light a candle, run laps around the English Channel, and people like the English Channel is a body of water." Neptune, we have a cocker spaniel. I was like,
Oh god.
"Yo,
Like he's just putting words together, and these words don't make
shout out
sense
to
at all
Nori.
together.
Listen, shout out to Nori, man. Shout out to Nori. Definitely follow Drew Truth at Drew Truth. Definitely follow Kevin Lewis at KLEW24. Follow us on TikTok at middle_initial_pod on TikTok. And make sure that you're following us on MI Podcast on Instagram and on Twitter. Also, guys, the Discord is popping. The Discord is popping. We're having a lot of fun in there. Trying to drop some new merch, and they've been hating on us. So I actually have given away our latest design from Dan Lomax to our patrons to take it and do what they want. I recommended a website for them to go to. So if you want to get that exclusive design, no one's going to get it. Only patrons are going to get it. Make sure you sign up to our Patreon. It's an Aaron Rodgers design. It's a really dope design. I can't even give it to you. You got to be a patron to get it and take it and go to stickermule.com and get your t-shirt, get some stickers, get some buttons and pins. But it's a dope design, and you have to be a patron to get it. So for everybody who's asking us what's going on Patreon, there's mad exclusives that we're giving out. Pictures, podcast drops early, audio. I'm going to give you guys a treat. All my patrons who listen to this, you're going to hit this tomorrow. And if you make it to the end of the episode like most of you do, I found, while digging in the crates, I found some old episodes of Kevin and I, the original Middle Initial podcast, and I'm going to drop those original audio clips, the ones that I find, on our Patreon, exclusive Patreon. So if you ever knew about Middle Initial Podcast before it was a trio, you would love it when it was a duo. All right, so make sure you guys tune in to that. And anything else before we go?
Nope.
My Nick fandom is about to come back to a crashing halt.
Yeah, Knicks suck.
Oh my goodness.
Days divided by 69 because the Knicks won't.